All right, so today we are talking about histograms. So we're going to be able to construct and interpret histograms. We're going to be more focusing on the interpreting end of the lesson. So key thing, I would take a note on what a histogram is. It's a bar graph that shows the frequency of data in intervals. So the frequency meaning how many times it occurs in that interval. The interval is, we'll say 0 to 9 in this case was the number of CDs of owned. So we had 0 to 9, 10 to 19, 20 to 29, 30 to 39. So the height of the bar is the frequency of the values in that interval. So we're saying 0 to 9 CDs owned happens 4 times, or 4 people have that. All right. So first thing we're going to do is make a histogram. So all I'm going to do is say we're going to take the number of laps and draw it straight up to 11 and move it over. Now, everything in here, like a bar graph, it's just like a bar graph, but all of our bars are going to be touching. So we have 4 to 6, we go to 4. 7 to 9, we have 0, so I'm going to leave a space. Then we have 0 to 12, which is 3, which is halfway there. 13 to 15 is 6, which goes up to there. And that would be our histogram. Color them in, whatever. Most of the time they get colored in. All right, so that would be our data display. So we include the 0, but we don't put anything in there. All right, so there's no space between the bars in the histograms. Just remember that. All right, so let's clear off and move on. So in example 1, the histogram shows the winning speeds at the Daytona 500. Which interval contains the most data values? How many of the winning speeds are less than 140 miles per hour? How many winning speeds are at least 160 miles per hour? So we're going to answer part A. Which interval contains the most data values? So what we're looking for in that is we're really going to be looking for the peak. You're going to look for the tallest bar in the graph. So the tallest bar is right here. It's 159 to 159 because that occurs about 17 or 18 times. So part A is 150 to 159. Part B asks us the winning speed. How many winning speeds are less than, keyword, are less than 140 miles per hour? So we're going to go look at any number that is less than, not including 140, but less than 140. So we have right here. So we are looking at that blue area. So 139 or less is what we're going to be looking at. So this is 4, and this is about 1. So 4 plus 1, we have 5. So 5 winning speeds are less than 140 miles per hour. All right, so our last question, part C, says how many are at least? At least is our signal word in that case. Remember, at least tells us that it is going to be the lowest number that we can have, and then anything above it. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for 160. Find 160 on here. It's right there. And then that would be our lowest possible number. So then we are going up to 179. So between 160 and 179, what do we have? This looks like it's 1 shy, so I'm going to say that's about 7. And that looks like it's about 1 over, so that's going to be 5. And 7 plus 5 for part C tells me that I have 12 winning speeds that are at least 160 miles an hour. So remember those words. We have at least, meaning that's the lowest possible number. At most, that means that's the highest possible number. More than's telling me that things are going to be greater than that number or larger than that number. And less than is going to be numbers that are smaller than that number. All right. So let's clear off and move on. You guys try this one. Try part A, B, and C, and I will give you the answers in 1 second. So part A asks us which interval contains the most data values. So which one is the tallest bar? It is a 1 to 2. How many band members can have more than 4 instruments, or can play more than four instruments, or 2 instruments, sorry. So more than 2, it's greater than 2, which means it's up here. So I have 3 plus 1 tells me that I can have 4 people that can play more than 2 instruments. And how many band members can play at most 2 instruments, which means it's less than 2. It has to be exactly 2 or less than 2. So exactly 2 or less than 2. So that's just the 1 to 2 bar, which means I have 6. 6 people can play only 2 instruments or less. All right. So those are our answers. Let's move on. All right. So the data display shows how many push-ups students in a class completed for a physical fitness test. Which data display can you use to find how many students are in the class and explain? So first thing we got to do is look at our graphs. So the data display. So we have a histogram over here, and we have a pie chart. The pie chart is telling me percentage of push-ups. This is telling me the amount of push-ups and the percent of how many push-ups each classmate, or how many push-ups the class did together. Our histogram over here is telling me the number of students as my frequency, and our ranges, or our values on the bottom, are telling me the number of push-ups. So which one makes the most sense? Which one's going to tell me how many students are in the class? It's going to be this one, because this is telling me the number of students. This is only telling me, my pie chart is only telling me how many push-ups they did. So we want to know how many students are in the class. We're going to be able to look at the number of students based on our frequency, and then we're going to add them up and find the sum of that and tell me how many students are in the class. You can't use the circle graph because it doesn't show you the number of students in intervals. All right. So, sorry. Let's move on. So that would be our answer. Let's move on to this one. So which statement cannot be made using the data displays in example 3? I move the examples over here. So we have A, 12% of the class completed less than 10 push-ups. B, 5 students completed at least 10 and at most 19. At least 1 student completed more than 39 push-ups. Oops. And D, 29% of the class completed 30 or more push-ups. So the circle graph, we're going to look at the circle graph let's look at number 1. The circle graph tells me what I'm going to know in circle 1. 12% is right here inside that circle graph in blue. Why did I just write in blue? One may never know. So we have right here, our circle graph is 12%. 12% of the class completed 10 push-ups. No, less than 10 push-ups. Oh, look, 0 to 9, that's less than 10 push-ups. Hey, look, 12%, so that's not it. Let's look at B. So B says 5 students completed at least 10 push-ups and at most 19 push-ups. So I'm going to go look at my histogram down here and look at 10 to 19. Oh, look, that's an interval already. Is it higher than 5? Nope. So it's exactly 5, which means that's true. And then we look at C. At least one student completed more than 39 push-ups. Oh, look, more than 39, that has to be 40. Oh, look, 40 to 49. Oh, that's 1. So at least 1 means it's 1 or less, or 1 or more. Oh, look, 1 or more. Definitely 1 or more. So that's off. And now we have D. 29% of the class completed 30 or more push-ups. So the circle graph shows me that 30 to 39 is 24%, and or more, so I have to keep going to 40 to 49, which is 4%, and 24 plus 4% gives me 28%, which is not 29. So D would be our answer in this case. I mean, we've also gone through process of elimination, but just to double check that we got it, we made sure we added our 2% from our pie chart to get 29%. All right, so clear out, and let's move on to your turn. Go finish the Nearpod, the quiz, the exit ticket. Make sure you finish and make sure you did the do now before this. Otherwise, like always, if you have any questions, reach out to me. I'm here. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you later.